seeing someone, anyone, whether it's your child, on a bed in a mortuary there's nothing you can do about it after that. It's done. The times for stepping in and stopping that happening have gone. There's nothing you can do about it. My daughter Emily Longley was 17 years old when she was murdered. It's almost 5 years ago now, by her boyfriend, Elliot Turner, and she had gone over to England to study at a college over there. And we were living back here, and around her birthday in February, she texted me that I think my mother texted me, she was living with my parents, texted me and said she had started a relationship with this boy called Elliot Turner, who seemed fairly normal. And so that carried on, and the relationship seemed to get a bit more serious, although I think more from him than from Emily's point of view. And she came over back to New Zealand for a holiday that Easter, and she kind of talked about him a little bit, but not too much. And she went back, and it was great to see her, and she seemed so full of hope for the future for herself, and we had a great time over here. And then a week later, we got this call that she was dead, and it just seemed bizarre that this girl who just, it was a week later, who had just been over here full of life, and fun, and 17-year-old girl enjoying herself, was dead. And I just thought, what happened? Over the course of the next year, it really unraveled what had happened, and what this Turner had done. But you had the classic signs. You had the power, the control, the isolation. Elliot Turner he tried to isolate Emily from her friends. So he told some of her friends that Emily was taking drugs because he knew that they didn't like that. He also one day took her phone and texted all the men in it, as if it was from Emily, saying, "I don't want to see you anymore. I can't see you anymore. I've got a new boyfriend. I really love him. I don't want to be friends with you anymore." He somehow obtained her Facebook password. So he'd go onto Facebook. He'd see that. He'd see who she was contacting through Facebook. He would use power. He was a lot bigger than her. He would use, first of all, it was verbal abuse he would give Emily. If she turned up to meet him and he didn't like what she was wearing, he would call her a whore. She would be out with friends. He would turn up. He would cause a scene. Emily would invariably end up leaving with him. If she didn't, he would go and sit outside and cry until she came outside, and so he disrupted the night out with the friends. And so he slowly isolated her that way, and then Emily's in a foreign country living with her grandparents. Very easy to isolate a girl like that. She's relying on her social life. It's a very effective tool, isolation. The woman feels there's nowhere to go for help or support, but more importantly, there's no one there to say, this behaviour is not good. He hit her in public. There's a video clip that was picked up by a CCTV in a bar where he smashes her head against the table. He, on occasion in public, would hold her up against the wall by her neck, which again, a lot of people brush that off, but that's if you're bigger and stronger than someone and you hold them up or you grab their neck, it's a very disabling thing for them, and it's a very kind of way of asserting your power over that person. Some of the signs with Elliot Turner were a lot more obvious, and he said he was going to kill her. He told friends of hers he was going to kill her in the weeks up to this. He was very open about that. He said he was going to kill her. He discussed killing her with one friend of his. They discussed whether the two of them were going to kill her in these conversations. They discussed whether they should drown her, set fire to her, or poison her. And in the end, they decided that they would do this choker hold on her. And that, those are pretty clear signs that something's not right with Elliot Turner. I mean, I still can't fathom to this day why those friends went along with that. They, not only did they go along with it, but by not stopping him, they encouraged him. And perhaps if one of them had said, "Mate," or a group of them had said, "Mate, you're out of order. You know, Emily could still be alive today, and you know, when a child dies, it's hard. You know, and when you find out one's been murdered, it's even harder. But when you find out that had people stepped in, she could still be alive today, that's really difficult to take. I think in these situations, you've got, you know, there's teachers, there's your parents, there's the police, there's all these people, but the really powerful group, I think, is your peers. And it's hard. You know, I know it's really hard for people to step in. It's hard to confront a mate. It's hard to talk to someone you think might be the victim of domestic violence. You know, they're probably not aware they're in an abusive relationship. They probably think this is a normal relationship, and they probably think what their husband does to them, what their partner does to them, is normal. They've been conditioned for so long, and you know, just by stepping in, you're kind of you're ending that cycle. This is not normal. This isn't right. You're not behaving. You're not the person I knew 5 years ago. Yeah, if you see those signs, just step in.